Hello. Today I'm recording on this morning of B'atz, the beginning of the Trecena of B'atz. As you can see, it's an absolutely beautiful morning here at the lake. I expect there might be some wave noise in the background. I expect there might be some bird noise in the background. There might be some wind noise as well. My apologies for that. And I'm here to talk about the Trecena of B'atz, of course, and this is going to be the last video that I make at the lake for a little while anyway, as I go off on my journeys again. So I thought, what about doing it in all of its splendor? What about making this work of art, this beauty, on a day of new beginnings, the beginning of weaving something new? What a day to be doing it on this new day itself. So the Trecena of B'atz, as I already sort of mentioned, time to create something new. Time to bring your new art into the world. Trying to start a new creation. And what is that new creation going to be? Well, it can be whatever you want. What do you want to weave into the world? What have you been waiting to weave into the world for however long it might have been? Maybe you've been kind of like just, having some time where you think, hey, you know what? I really want to write my book, or I really want to paint a picture, or I really want to make this creative project happen. You're just kind of waiting for the right time. If you're waiting for a right time, maybe, hopefully, this video might inspire to say, this is the right time. That time is now. It's time to begin. Okay? Time to create your beauty and get it out to the world. And so, let's go through the Trecena, the days of the Trecena, and see what each of them might bring for us and how to use the best days. Now, obviously, in case I haven't mentioned this before, this is my interpretation of it. This is my opinion of how we can get the best out of these days. After studying the calendar for 25 years or so, I kind of look at it and say, right, okay, well, like any system, like anything, we got to understand how to use it the best. In any system, if we use it correctly and we get something out of it, great. If we get nothing out of it, then what are we even working with it for? And so, as I say, I've felt it and thought about it and worked with it and all that kind of thing, and got some ideas about how to get the juice out of each day, as it were. How to, kind of like engage with the energy of the day and use it to its highest potential. So, that's why I make these videos. That's why I've been writing for the last 8 years or so about it as well. So, I hope that, just to get that over and, remind that it is my interpretation. There'll be other interpretations out there as well, I'm sure. But this is mine, of course. So, the day one B'atz, a new beginning, a new seed of creation. We've got B'atz representing the artistic genius, representing all of the arts, creativity and creation. This is what comes through that Nawal. And here we have it with the number one, representing the seed, the potential, which is going to grow into something greater. Now, what's that seed? Well, that seed is whatever you want it to be. It's kind of like, what flowers do you want to plant in your garden? What creativity do you want to bring into the world? It's totally up to you. Nobody's telling you what you have to create. And equally, that seed, how do we grow it? Well, when we plant the seed, we're going to have to help it to grow, right? If that seed sits on the shelf, if that seed sits in unfavorable conditions, nothing is going to happen to it. It's not going to grow. So when we plant the seed, we have to water the seed. We have to give it some fertilizer so that it can germinate and fulfill its potential. So as you start this new project, as you start this new art, it's about finding the right conditions in which it can grow strong, in which it can achieve its potential. Now, that might be finding the right conditions, as in setting up your studio correctly so that you can work to your highest potential. It might be that you have to get some advice as to how to help it to grow. Because this is also something that sometimes we need a little bit of help, a little bit of inspiration to help us to understand how to bring their things to their fruition. Sometimes you might have to go and talk to somebody who's done it before so that you can understand better how to approach the task, how to approach the art. So, for example, if you want to write a book, go chat with some authors about their process. You want to paint a picture, go talk to some painters about how they approached a similar subject. It's about getting that nutrient in order to help you and to inspire you to start your project, to engage with your art so that you can bring that beauty out into the world. So there's a task for today. Get your new project, get your new art into the world and find the fertilizer that it needs to make it grow strong. From 1 B'atz, we're then going to move into 2 the Nawal of the path, the Nawal of the road. The Nawal of the journey that we undertake. Is a journey of discovery. And that journey of discovery is falling in this Trecena of creation. And we could say that all of our creative work is a journey of discovery in a way, right? Especially if it's something new that we're creating that we haven't done before. Maybe it's a new technique in what you're painting. Maybe it's a new technique in the media that you're using. Or maybe it's just, kind of like something you never tried before. Hey, I always thought I'd have a go at painting in watercolors. It's a new journey. There's lots of learning to be done. Now, the number 2 can represent self-sacrifice. It can represent love. It can also represent choices. It's about choosing your path. So, the path, the journey that we're going on. And 2 is like, right, okay, saying, right, we want to go left or we want to go right at this junction. Like, it's as simple as that. It's heads or tails, one or the other, 1 or 0, okay? Because that 2 is very much in a binary state. There's no middle way. It's 1 or 0. You want to do this or you don't want to do this. You want to explore this path or you want to explore that path. It's about choose your path. Now, I know I'm going to go with relationships as well, with regards to a meaning of it or with regards to an idea about it. It's also, we could see this about what is the path of love. In which way does that take you? If you're faced with a decision, then it might be the most loving path that you choose to take, and that might involve some self-sacrifice. But this is maybe the sacrifice we make for our art, if I can use that cliche. Okay, so it's sort of like, what might you have to sacrifice on your path in order to bring that creation into the world? From 2 we're then going into 3 Now, if there was ever a day to stay home, 3 would be that. Because we have representing the house and home. And we have the number 3 representing the inner world. But this can also represent, of course, the house of the soul, which, kind of like is the home within. And so when we have the 2 together, this is the ultimate day of hermiting. This is a day to be within your home and, of course, to organize the things within that place. Now, we're in this Trecena of creativity. And, of course, we could say that, sometimes we're going to have to take our time to meditate on things. We're going to have to take our time to be inspired by things. And here we see, where should we go for that inspiration? Where we should go to look first? We got to go within. We got to find a harmony. I also would say It can be a challenge to create if we're trying to create something when we're a bit stressed, if we're pushed to create something. And sometimes we've really got to go within. We've got to find our harmonious place from which to create. And here it's the heart of the holy. It's the heart within. It's the three can be extremely creative. If we think of it representing the three stars, Alnitak, Saif and Rigel, marking the hearth place in the sky, marking the sacred fire within, which could be the Orion Nebula, the birthplace of stars. That's the creativity that it is surrounding. And so this is the creativity that we could maybe tap into when we really go within. But we need some peace and quiet in order to do that. We need a harmonious space that's like really working on your inner harmony by being within your home, within your house maybe, within your home, and that being within you as well. So time spent within yourself to come to harmony in order to create would be time well spent on the day 3 Ach. We could also see Ach as having the bravery, the courage to bring harmony into the world, to stand up for what is right. And when we see it with the number 3, this is about going within to understand what is right, going within to find that harmony. And again, I would say that when we're in harmony, this brings us into a greater state of creativity because all is right with the world around us when all is right with the world within us. From 3 Ach, we will then move into 4 Ish. From the inner world, I see we're now going into the outer world because we're connecting with Mother Earth. Ish, our connection with the heart of Mother Earth. Here, with the number 4, the physical reality around us. Ish, our connection with our magic, our connection with the altars and the shrines, the sacred places that we see around us, connecting with the sacred place that we have within us. Our own magic connecting with the magic of Mother Earth. That's what we can see with the Noal Ish. And where do we find it on the day 4 Ish? We find it all around. We find it in our natural world. It's a day to go and show your gratitude to Mother Earth. It's a day to make your ceremony, to connect with the altars in a very physical way. So, a wonderful day to go and connect with those shrines, those altars. If you've got a sacred site near you, if you've got an altar in your garden, a great day to make your offerings for your creativity. And of course to respect and to honor all the physicality that Mother Earth brings to us. All the food that comes from her, our literal world that we live in. To honor Mother Earth in a very physically appropriate way. Go clean up the beach. Go do what it is that you feel that you need to do in order to honor Mother Earth, to show your gratitude for all that comes from her. Okay? From 4 Ish, we're then going into 5 Tzikin. Now, I have got birds singing around me. I doubt that you can hear them. You can probably only hear the waves, I'm sure. But Tzikin representing the birds, representing those who inspire us through their song, through their colors, and through their beauty. Here in the Trecena of B'atz, here in the Trecena of creativity, with the number 5. Now, the birds, also we see with the birds, the visionary. It's about bringing in that vision, right? And here with the number 5, the hand, that which brings us our ability to put our energy into it. Okay? And so it's putting your energy into your vision. Now, of course, that's got to be what making our art is all about. Right? Because, it's not just going to make itself. We're going to have to put our energy into it to make it happen. So this is a wonderful day. It's kind of like we could see it if we were looking at this time of creativity. We could see, maybe those first 3 or 4 days, we're kind of like getting our advice about how we're going to create. We're going within to find our, peaceful space. We're making our offering for all the materials we're going to use. And now 5 Tikin comes along, and it's time to put our energy into the creation of our vision, into bringing it into reality. So the question is, what is your vision? What is inspiring you? What vision are you drawing on in order to create into this world? So this, for me, is what I would suggest. Yes, you might still be in that phase of kind of like working it out a little bit. But it's like time to go forward. It's time to get your energy moving and move forward with your vision. So 5 Tzikin, I would say, expect to be inspired and expect to put your energy into whatever vision it is that you want to create in this Trecena of B'atz. Okay? So from 5 Tzikin, we're then moving on to 6 Achmach. Well, Achmach, a day of forgiveness, a day of sensuality, a day of being a human. Because, yes, of course, I'm always talking about forgiveness because Achmach is, very much connected with forgiveness and redemption. But it's also really connected with being a human. And we're put here to be joyful. We're put here to enjoy this world, this humanity that we live within. And of course, this is going to involve some, if we're really being human, and we all talk about living in the moment. I mean, living in the moment's a wonderful thing. Sometimes it's going to bring up some, we live in the moment, and well, maybe that means that we get a bit irresponsible with some things as well, and then we're going to have to apologize because we didn't live up to expectation, or we didn't live up to what it was we were supposed to do. Who knows? But here we see it with the number 6, representing ultimate stability, also representing the family. Now, the first thing, okay, let's bring this out with 6 Achmach. If we see forgiveness and we see family, then it's like sorting out whatever needs to be sorted out within your family. Whether it's asking for forgiveness, whether it is forgiving something, it's a day to make that resolution to, kind of like sort out whatever might be causing upset within your family. It's time to, kind of like maybe eat some humble pie, as it were, and go and say, yep, all right, I hold my hands up. That wasn't my best moment, but here I am. This is me. I hope you can love me like I love you. However that might work. But let's look at it from another way as well. We're put here to be humans. If we weren't put here to be humans, we wouldn't be in human bodies. And human bodies have senses. And it's when we engage with those senses, that's sometimes when we get our most creative. When we're happy, when we're joyful, when we're full of that human expression. And this is also what is represented by Achmach. And there's a beauty in that. And here we're bringing that stability to that beauty. It's drawing on heaven and earth and manifesting it into that physical plane to bring out the beauty of what it is to be human, to what it is to be alive. So let's remember that on 6 Achmach as well. Let's remember that it is about embracing the sweetness of life and bringing it to stability. Now, this might be taking it out of that cycle of excesses and saying, you know what? I can be human and I can be living in the moment and I can be productive and I can live up to what I need to do all together. And when we bring that into our creativity, we can imagine that we're able to create what it is that we need to create in a much more human way. It's kind of like we can't be, let's say, a robot about our creation. I mean, otherwise I'd be using AI to do this kind of thing, right? And I'm not, because I want humanity to come into it. And that's going to mean that sometimes the sound's a bit off because of the waves, or sometimes the lighting's a bit off because it's only coming from one side, or whatever it is. That's part of the humanity of it. So it's embrace that humanity, bring it into stability, and create from it in the Trecena of B'atz. Okay? From 6 Achmach, we're then going into 7 Noach. So Noach, the Nawal of thought, the Nawal of the mind, the Nawal of the ideas and the solutions to issues and problems, and the number 7 representing choices, coming to the top of the pyramid from which you can see in all directions to make your choices, but also representing endings. Now, we could see this as kind of like, I'm going to say, finally making up your mind as to what it is that you want to do. You know, again, we're going through the Trecena of B'atz. We got to the halfway point. Are you still deliberating about the way you're going to do what you're doing? Are you still deliberating about what you're going to paint, how you're going to paint it, which medium you're going to use? This might be the idea. This might be the day. This might be the time of making up your mind about it. Noch would suggest what you have in your brain, all the information that you've collected as you've gone along. You've learned about various techniques. You've learned about various styles of creativity. Now it's time to employ them. Now it's time to make your choice and go forward with something. And yes, again, Noch could be a good day to, let's say, meditate on the answer, as it were, because you might be, let's say, overwhelmed with the thoughts that you have, overwhelmed with the information that you have. Which way is the best way to go? Who knows? But 7 Noch is a day to stand on your mountain and make a choice, using the information that you carry in order to go forwards, in order to finish off the idea. Then from the idea, we got to get it onto paper, onto canvas, into reality. Okay, but it's about making your choices clearly using the information that you carry. From 7 Noch, we move into 8 Tihash. 8 Tihash, one of my favorite healing days of all. It's a great day for a healing ceremony. You know, we've just finished the Trecena of Tihash yesterday on the day, on day 13C. Okay, we finished our time of cleansing. We enter the Trecena of B'atz, and now on the day 8 Tihash, it's a day to give thanks for the cleansing that we've encountered, for the healing that we've encountered through it. 8 Tihash, a day to make ceremony for your clarity, okay, to see through with discernment. Tihash is a thing of beauty. I think of it as, you know, it's not just about the warrior and the healer. I mean, those aspects come in. It's also about the sculptor. It's those who see through to the final beauty that can be coming out of something. Now, what better day could you have in this Trecena of B'atz, in this Trecena of creativity, than the day which represents the wholeness of beauty, wholly creating something beautiful, something that you're bringing into the world, seeing through in fine detail to the greatest beauty that can be created. This is what we can engage with on the day of 8 Tihash, okay? Now, of course, there is a wonderful opportunity to make our offering for it, right? To make our offering, to ask for having that eye, that discernment that helps us to see through to it. So, you know, if you've still got any creative block in that time, then the day 8 Tihash could be a really good day to make your ceremony, to ask to help to be, you know, to cut through the creative block so that you can bring that beauty into the world. And of course, if there's any healing needing to be done, then 8 Tihash is absolutely the day for healing ceremony. From 8 Tihash, we're then moving into 9 Kwok, an incredibly feminine day. Okay, we have Kwok, a very, very feminine essence, a strong leadership essence, essence of strong women. Okay, combined with the number 9, representing feminine, representing life itself and representing independence. Now, if there was a great day to be giving thanks for the work of the midwives, then 9 Kwok would certainly be it. we could see the number 9 representing life, and if we see Kwok as the midwives, we can really understand, the ones who bring life into this world, or help the life to come into this world. I mean, 9 Kwok can very much be a celebration of feminine healers. What we can also see, if we see Kwok as assisting the birthing process, and we see the number 9 as life, we can also see that this is a great day. We've gone through, as I say, like putting our work into our vision. We've gone through stabilizing our humanity. We've gone through making the final choices about which way we're going to go. We've gone through making our offering to ask for the vision of the discernment in the 8 Yahash. And now we come to the 9 Kwok. Well, here we are, birthing that new life into the world, okay? And so, like with Kwok, the rain which nurtures. Now we are in this point, as you can probably see, there's still some brownness around us. We had a couple of heavy rain storms come through so far, but it's really at that point where we're getting, into the second half of April. We're getting into that point when the rains are really going to coming. I wonder whether 9 Kwok is certainly going to, mark the entrance of the rainy season and bringing all of this back to its full verdant life. Because that's what we see. Things coming to life, being reborn on the day 9 Kwok. And so it's like bringing your project, bringing your art to life in this Trecena of B'atz. From 9 Kwok, we then go to 10 Achpu. Achpu representing the sun, representing our spiritual path. Achpu representing our higher purpose in life, what we're aiming for, finding that hero within us. And what do we see it with? The number 10 representing community, representing the two hands coming together in agreement in society. So a day to find higher purpose in society. Now Achpu could also be connected with the arts, because this is a higher thing. We can, of course, we have to do the things that nourish us. We have to go to work, we have to put food on the table, all of the basic things. But then Achpu is looking at the extras. What else can we do with this human body in this human life? Well, we've got to look for the signs of the divine. And where do we find them? We might find them in our arts. Now, we might draw our inspiration from the community around us. Sometimes the 10 we could see as giving a hand up to each other. Sometimes the 10 also is giving a hand up to others. And when we see it with Achpu, when we see it with the higher purpose, when we see it with finding the hero within ourselves, this is where we can really understand this is not just about, kind of like, helping out, hey, can I borrow your hammer or whatever it might be. This is also about, helping each other along the spiritual path. As I said, we can see Achpu also kind of connecting with the arts in a way. It could be a great day to ask for assistance, for guidance, for a bit of help from your community, to understand the higher purpose that comes through your art, to understand the higher purpose that comes through the arts of each other. Okay, so this is a possibility for 10 Achpu, asking your community to help you to find your way to your higher purpose in life. From 10 Achpu, we move into 11 IMAS. IMAS representing the lake, representing the waters of life. IMAS representing the dream world, representing the collective consciousness as well. And so with IMAS, we can certainly understand that, we're diving into this lake, we're diving into the waters that surround us in order to find our inspiration. Maybe again, you get all enthusiastic about your creative project, and then you hit a block, you hit a stumbling time, and you need to go back to the dream. But which dream? Well, the 11 It's looking here, it's looking there, it's looking there, it's looking there. It's looking in these intuitive places, because with the 11, it's not about following a logical path. I mean, hopefully we're not necessarily going to follow a logical path when we're working in the arts, as we might in this Trecena of B'atz. We got to follow our intuition. We got to follow, what's coming to us. And for me, the 11 in Mosh is following sometimes the weird and wonderful dreams that we might have. Because 11 in Mosh, I could see as one of the most non-linear days of all. But of course, in that non-linearity is where we might find the greatest creativity. Because it's not being attached to, let's say that we're following a dream in this direction and then something comes along to guide us off to this direction. It's allowing ourselves to wander, to intuitively follow which direction the dream is going to take us in and what it's going to show us, because maybe that's the inspiration that we need to bring into this new weaving, this new art that we can follow. So, don't expect linear things to happen on that day 11 in Mosh. But follow your instincts. Follow your, what comes to you. And engage with your dreams in that way. From 11 in Mosh, we then move into 12 Ich. The wind just picked up right there when I mentioned Ich. This is kind of like the wind coming in. This is the communication. This is maybe about, kind of like getting your project out there in some way, or at least talking about it a bit more. And here we have it combined with the number 12. The number 12, which we could see, well, I often talk about the number 12, like writing your autobiography. It's like bringing everything together into one place. All of your experiences coming together in one place. Now, when we see that with Ich, I already used the phrase writing your autobiography. Well, Ik is all about communication, of course. Now, that could be communication with a voice, because, of course, that's very important. But it could, if we think about communication, this might also represent writing it down. And so, if we see the 12 as life experience, this could very well be, communicating your life story. And what a wonderful thing to have, kind of like in that Trecena of B'atz. How are you going to communicate your life story? How are you going to communicate all of the life's information? We could also see it as drawing together all of the experience that you have, because it's B'atz. So it might be about weaving, it might be about painting, it might be about singing or dancing or writing a new song or whatever it might be. It's about creativity. And the 12 is drawing on all of the experience you've had throughout your life in order to communicate what it is that you want to express through your art. Okay? And then finally, we're going to end up in the day 13 Abal. Now, 13 Abal is a very important day for several reasons. The first reason that I would like to bring out is that if you were to look at the calendar through the lens of the Maya cross, 13 Abal would be seen as the conception day of the day Washaki B'atz, the day 8 B'atz, the day of initiation, the day of the beginning of the ceremonial or ritual cycle of the calendar. So a very, very important day. And it is conceived in the day 13, Oshlachu Abal. Okay? Now, what do we know about this? Well, the number 13 representing the spirit, representing the ancestors. The Nawal Abal representing the dusk and the dawn, representing the new concepts. So it's new concepts coming from spirit. Maybe that's what you need to finish off your creation. Okay? Maybe if we're looking at it with regards to the day of Washaki B'atz, we're saying that it is conceived from the ancestors. It's the concept which is coming through from the ancestors. It's the final day in, these 13 days that began on the beginning of creation, where we're getting a little help from the ancestors, where we're getting this inspiration coming in from spirit. I sometimes think if B'atz is the weaving, then, you know, kind of like Abal could be like the basket of threads which we're given, which is, you know, kind of like these concepts that we're going to weave into something beautiful on 8 bats. Well, 13 Abal is bringing these new colors, it's bringing this new inspiration that from the ancestors into our weaving. And so, you know, kind of again, if you're looking at the 13 days of the B'atz Trecena as this period of creation, the 13th day may be where you receive inspiration from the ancestors of a new concept that you could bring into the creation. Okay? So, I hope that you've enjoyed this scenery. It's going to be the last time that you'll see it behind me for about 6 months or so. It's really beautiful down here. Really happy to be here, and I'll look forward to seeing you in 13 days' time for the Trecena of Cat. And, well, I'll leave you guessing as to where I might be filming the next one. Thanks for being here.